Deputy Tom Neville.
Thank you, Ceann Comhairle. To ask the Minister for Communications, Climate Action and Environment the status of the implementation of the Action Plan for Online Safety, the progress made to date, and if he will make a statement on the matter.
Sir. Thank you, Deputy. The Action Plan for Online Safety was published in July 2018 and was drawn up following engagement with a wide range of stakeholders, including online safety experts, government agencies, NGOs, parents, young people and industry. The plan recognised the opportunities and benefits provided by the Internet, but also the importance of a coordinated action and wide engagement in dealing with online risks and harms. The plan contains 25 targeted actions, which are assigned to 6 key government departments, including the Department of Communications and Climate Action. Implementation of the action plan is coordinated by a sponsors group chaired by the Department of Education and Skills. The first progress report on the implementation of the action plan was published on 5th of February 2019 to coincide with Safer Internet Day. That report outlines progress in the first 6 months of its implementation from July to December. During this period, 22 of the actions targeted for completion were achieved. A further progress report is being prepared by the Department of Education and Skills for the period January to June 2019. In terms of the Department, key actions assigned by the Action Plan are the establishment of the National Advisory Council on Online Safety, which I chair myself, and the regulation of harmful online content. In early March, we announced that Government would address harmful content through the development of new legislation, an Online Safety and Media Regulation Bill, which will also transpose the revised Audio Visual Media Services Directive. And this public consultation on these proposals was concluded last month. This bill will establish for the first time a clear expectation for online platforms to take reasonable steps to ensure the safety of their users, especially children, and provide for regulatory oversight by a robustly empowered Online Safety Commissioner with significant enforcement powers. It shall also provide a mechanism on appeal to the only Safety Commissioner to require the takedown of harmful material. And we want to thank those who contributed to the consultation, including NGOs, industry players, experts and members of the public, and to note that these contributions will be published in the coming weeks. We are currently examining the issues raised and suggestions made to inform the development of this new legislation.
Deputy Neville.
Thank you, Minister, for your answer. I very much welcome that and look forward to seeing what the updates come in relation to the consultation and what's been put forward. I think I sit on the Children's and Youth Affairs Committee, and in examining these issues, I think last year we had speaking to young people in relation to that, and what came across and what I heard from there, and something I kind of champion myself as well, is in relation to education. And it's not only education in relation to the technologies and what they can provide and the content that they put out, but it's actually looking at the nuances of communication. And that's online communication as opposed to visible, verbal communication. That's something when written online can be interpreted in a very different meaning as to the same thing being communicated face to face, i.e. there's no body language, there's no tone of voice or anything like that. So oftentimes things can be misinterpreted. Second to that, when there is online, I suppose, inappropriate behaviour happening and online bullying, particularly around cyberbullying on the mental health side, that we have to educate people in relation to addressing the nuances of that and giving them the tools and the equipment to be able to deal with that, to understand the nuances behind that, that this is a snapshot in time, that the emotion has been put there, but that people move on and that things move on from that. Oftentimes anxiety can be driven by that, and I think we really need to focus on the education side of communication and that as this online matures.
And I agree with the Deputy that education for young children and education for parents and how to deal with all of that, it is very important. And as part of my role chairing the National Advisory Council, we have had experts in, we've had stakeholders in to explain what is actually going on at the moment, and the rise in incidents where people are reporting to the different organisations what's actually happening. It's on the increase, and it's something that we need to deal with as a matter of urgency. And absolutely education is important, but I think also, and the Minister here has said it a number of times, that the self-regulation is finished with. It's out the door. We cannot have that anymore. We need to have proper regulation and a proper control on it. And it's something that a lot of people have to engage with, including the industry, but also education plays a very important role in that.
Thank you very much. Deputy Neville.
Yeah, thank you. Just to finish my point there, and I welcome your statement on it, Minister, that it's I suppose that education will give, as I said, the tools, you know, like we're doing with the 300 hours in the secondary schools. It gives people the tools and to be able to deal and cope with what is and the challenges that are being thrown at people, that they're able to do that and able to manage their emotions around that as well. You know, that this is, as I said, is just a snapshot in time. And to have that, but also to look at why people do carry out this behaviour online and what the drivers are from that. Oftentimes some of this online behaviour can be, as I said before, can be misinterpreted, but we have to get behind this as a culture. There has to be a culture shift on this. I know we're dealing with this because it's new, it's a maturing type environment, and we're trying to, I suppose, alter the culture in relation to that our young people, when they do grow up, that, you know, the same way as you conduct yourself socially and as socially acceptable face-to-face or on the telephone, that there is a socially acceptable way of conducting one online, and I think that really needs to be pushed as well.
Minister, to conclude.
To say that I agree with what you're saying, but the other big problem with online safety is the whole area that this is not just confined to our country, it's right across the world, and how we actually deal with it internationally in the area of regulation. But I think what we need to do here is to start in our own country, have the regulation, have the online safety commissioner, so that we actually are showing that we are really intent on protecting our young people who are most vulnerable. In my role, I find that everybody is engaging. We're now starting an online survey, or a survey with children and with parents and with educators as to actually what is going on with the use of the internet, how people deal with things when they come across something which is not totally right in terms of children, how the parents, are they aware of what's going on. So all of this is something to, I suppose, bring people more into focus as to what actually can be going on, and I think parents have a role to play as well as educators.
Thank you very much, Mr.